The 2022 Royal Rumble is in the books. We have Ronda Rousey that made her historic return to win the Royal Rumble, and Brock Lesnar shocking the world, coming in at number 30 and winning the whole damn thing. Jeremy Bennett, Jose G, and Rico are going to jump into everything you need to know on what went down at this year's Royal Rumble here at the show on Sportskeeda Wrestling. Here we go. Watch out, watch out, watch out, watch out. What's up, fam? It is the 2022 Royal Rumble. It's in the books. I'm Jose G. We got Jeremy Bennett. We got Rico joining us. Guys, a lot of people, I started getting a lot of messages towards the end of that Rumble. They were like, this is a terrible Rumble. But so far, it was okay. It wasn't bad. We had some pretty notable matches. So far, Rick, what did you think of out of the winners? Ronda winning and coming back, and Brock losing the championship and winning at the end. What did you think of those two Rumbles there, man?
Okay, let me start with the elephant in the room. That men's Royal Rumble match was terrible. Mm-hmm. It was just poorly booked. We didn't really have any surprises whatsoever. There was no storyline advancement for literally anybody inside the match whatsoever. Madcap Moss lost AJ Styles. Like, what are we doing? I know. Like, outside of AJ Styles throwing Omos out of the match, right? There was like no storyline progression for anything. There was nothing to really dive into. There was no meat. It was just dudes hopping in the match, chucking people out. And the second you got down to number 30, you knew Brock Lesnar was going to come down, because you start counting. But like, once KO and Big E got tossed, unceremonious, Shane McMahon eliminates Kevin Owens. Okay.
Yeah.
We've been down that road. We've been down that road.
We've been down there. We've been there, done that. But he's unceremoniously tossed. Big E is unceremoniously tossed. I don't think that there was a
Damian Priest.
Damian Priest gets chucked he's nothing.
Yeah.
Shinsuke Nakamura getting eliminated like he's nothing. Robert Roode getting tossed like he's nothing. That guy deserves so much more than what he's been getting. You knew Brock was going to be You knew Brock was going to be number 30 before the countdown even hit, just based off of the dudes that were left in the ring. Mm-hmm. And you saw it. Like, yeah, we got Brock and Drew. Very nice to see Drew McIntyre back. That was the only other storyline progression, was Drew McIntyre eliminating the happy folk, or whatever the hell they're calling them these days. And then beating the hell out of him with the steel steps. That was the only other storyline progression we saw in anything there.
Yeah.
Nobody cared when it came down to Brock and Drew.
No.
Nobody thought Drew had a chance, had a prayer of winning that matchup.
No.
And then the both finales of these Royal Rumble matches were very quick. They were over very, very quick. There was no drama. There was no build. I'm hard pressed to find a Royal Rumble match that I think was honestly worse off the top of my head anyway.
Yeah.
We'll dive into all of that and more, guys. Just make sure you are liking, sharing, and subscribing right now in the show. Make sure you're doing that. Share this show right now in your favorite wrestling group. Tag your friends in the comment section so they can join in on the conversation. But surprisingly, guys, the Universal Championship match opened up the Royal Rumble. Roman Reigns, Seth Rollins. Seth Rollins coming out to the Shield theme music, which did not sell with Roman. That was great. I popped. I thought that match had some really great storytelling, even with that DQ finish with Seth Rollins going to win. I think it was still from a story standpoint, from a long story standpoint, because these guys go way back. They go back 10 years. The attack, the turn happened in 2014, and Roman Reigns got his vindication, hitting him in the back several times, just getting it out of his system tonight. Jeremy, what did you think of this opening match tonight, bro?
It was probably the best match of the show. I would say there was probably, outside of maybe the Women's Royal Rumble, we knew the surprises. We'll talk about that in a little bit, but the Women's Royal Rumble was actually very entertaining, very enjoyable, and very well booked. This was probably the match of the night. I was pissed at first at the DQ finish, but then I said, we're going to get this again at Elimination Chamber in Saudi Arabia. So this was very well done. Him coming out to the Shield was brilliant. Just the way Seth acted as he was getting the shit beat out of him all match was tremendous. He took it to Roman early on. Roman was just getting the hell beat out of him early on too. It was very well done. the more I think about the DQ finish, the more I like it. I initially hated it, but the more I think about it, I like it a little more.
This is a product of WWE living off of DQ finishes. We see so many so often that when they finally do it where it makes sense from a storyline standpoint, we all audibly just hate the damn thing because we see them all the time.
Yeah.
We get there are some weeks between Raw, NXT, and SmackDown that we have had double-digit non-finish or DQ finishes to matches.
Yeah.
WWE needs to normalize clean finishes again.
It took AEW 2 years for them to do one.
To do one.
Yeah.
To do one. WWE makes their bread and butter off of DQ finishes. And I agree with you. I hated it at first. I audibly groaned. I'm like, you cannot ruin that spectacular form of art with a no DQ finish. But, man, I'll tell you what. I think from what we saw at the end later on and what we saw to that, guys, we might actually be heading towards – I know everybody's talking about, oh, it's Brock and it's Roman at WrestleMania. You can't tell me right now that we're not heading towards a triple threat match. An actual revisit of the heist of the century, but with all three guys starting the match at the same time.
And I've seen people think both title matches are going to be triple threats at this point too, which is very interesting to see. But
and that's another problem. That's another problem with the Royal Rumble tonight, why Brock Lesnar won this. I genuinely don't believe WWE knows what their WWE title match is going to be at WrestleMania at this point.
I think right now, this is a wild long shot, but let's put it on tape right now. Bobby Lashley, Riddle, Randy Orton.
Sure. Wow. Why the hell not? I mean, I don't think Bobby Lashley.
I'm more inclined to think about AJ Styles and Bobby Lashley, to be honest.
Yeah.
Just because of the performance AJ Styles had tonight and how
he had the most eliminations.
He's been doing. He did.
Amazingly, if you look at the stats,
to hear that.
AJ Styles has had the most eliminations with 6. Brock only had 5. My initial thought with Riddle and Randy, though, were I think Randy's still having too much fun with this. I think they're going to take the titles back from Alpha Academy at Elimination Chamber, and then I think I thought we were going to get KO and Seth Rollins maybe teaming up. Now that's out the window, so that's why I was thinking, well, hell, I don't know. What else are we going to do?
At this point, Johnny Knoxville could challenge for the WWE Championship.
Man, he took the stiff shots too, man.
I was
disappointed. He was there to get finishers, bro. That's all he was there for. He was there to get finishers.
Like he took a good bump, right? Like he he did no-sell like AJ's first 4 shots. And then he took, he just stood there like, and then he finally went down and he took the frog splash and everything. I was expecting him to fly through something, get chucked from like that's a perfect guy for Omos to chuck into the second row, right? Like that should have been the guy that Omos decimated, not Montez Ford. Let's not get me started on Montez is just
yet another guy that we thought had maybe a run in him at the Royal Rumble and then had a very unceremonious. Right now the official times in the matches are not up yet. But it wasn't long. I know that much.
And even like somebody that you could tell they were sorry, real quick. Even people you could tell they were trying to highlight tonight didn't do anything. Austin Theory was in the match for what, a half hour? He didn't do anything.
I thought he would be the Iron Man. I thought that going into the match that he'd be the Iron Man and be in the final 4. And no, but he did last 25 minutes.
With that. I thought AJ and Austin Theory were going to be 1 hour plus guys that were going to be all the way until the end there. But
it was a weird. That was
where you both are coming from.
That was a weird final 4.
We didn't even get that final 4 moment. Like there wasn't even just all 4. It was like Brock didn't care. Like Brock was like, I don't work twice in one night. I'm going out here. I'm just going to chuck dudes. We couldn't even get a Riddle Lesnar stare down. Lesnar just chucked Riddle out like a piece of meat, like he didn't even matter, and then stared him down like, I don't respect you. Get out of my ring.
What's Shane doing in the final? What's Shane doing in the final 4 here?
What's Shane doing in the match?
That too. It was a weird final. Yeah, I mean, I figured, they're going to start some WrestleMania match, but then he just went back to Owens. I don't think they're going to do that again.
Here's the other head scratcher. Not one single NXT talent and
not one, dude. Not on either of the Rumbles. That surprised me because there was so much talk of LA Knight, so much talk of Braun Breaker. We didn't get to see it. Talk about Raquel Gonzalez making her way up.
Io Shirai.
I was frustrated. Io Shirai. I was frustrated that we didn't get to see any NXT stars in either of the Rumbles. But backtracking here, guys, let's jump into the Raw Women's title match, Doudrop versus Becky Lynch. Solid match. I thought this was really entertaining. Becky Lynch doing that manhandle slam from the second rope. Incredible visual. She got the win to retain the title. Overall, what do you guys think of this match?
It was a really good match, I thought, and the crowd was obviously distracted because the sign caught on fire from Ronda Rousey's pyro. But I thought this was probably the least looked forward to match on the card, and I thought they put together a real good match, in my opinion.
Yeah, this match already was uphill. It's heel versus heel. There's not a lot of people who are really invested in Doudrop right now.
Following a good women's rumble too.
Yes, following a good women's rumble, following the Ronda Rousey's return. This already had an uphill battle just because there weren't a lot of people interested in this match, in large part to do with Doudrop. And that's not a knock on her because I think she's fantastic and she had a great performance in this. But then, yeah, the damn sign catches on fire and you can literally just see everybody behind them staring off to the right, like just staring off stage right as they're lowering the sign, spraying it with, fire extinguisher shit, and then raising the sign back up and moving it out. So it's like, yeah, these ladies were just uphill battle this entire match. They kind of got him into it at the end, but this match was really, really good. I was very interested to see how Becky Lynch would find a way to beat Doudrop, and man, she pulled out all the stops tonight. Man, we don't see her do a lot of. She did a sunset flip, basically off the top rope. We don't see Becky Lynch pull out those kind of acrobatics very often. And then, yeah, the manhandle slam off of the middle rope was the only way she was going to get her up. I thought that was an innovative finish. I like these two. Becky Lynch has been on a roll in the ring of late. I know I'm a huge Becky Lynch homer, but that doesn't make that statement any less true.
Yeah, she's only standing right next to you over there.
I also think that they had incredible chemistry in the ring. Like you can tell when two women go at it and they don't feel comfortable with each other. You can see when Becky and you usually can tell they have good chemistry. Charlotte, Becky and Doudrop, they showed some incredible chemistry, and I wouldn't be surprised if they run this back again into Elimination Chamber.
Yeah, there's a lot of history. There's a lot of history with where they've come from and how they've gotten to WWE. There's a lot of history here, and yeah, I think you're completely right. There is going to be more to this down the line.
Maybe not before WrestleMania. It's all going to depend on what Ronda Rousey does now.
Oh, we all know. I think that's obvious.
No, it's not.
You don't think so?
No, it's not. And that all comes from Mr. Dave Meltzer in the report that he put out today, that the match that is locked in is not Ronda Rousey versus versus Becky Lynch. It's Ronda Rousey versus Charlotte for the SmackDown Women's Championship, which makes absolutely no sense to me. No. Because if you're Ronda Rousey, just from a storyline standpoint, if you're Ronda Rousey, you've come back after 3 years, and the woman who beat you, the only person to pin your shoulders to the mat in your entire professional wrestling career, is not only still active, is not only still on top, but is still holding the championship that you had.
And that she's never lost yet, really.
And that she's never lost yet. It makes absolutely no sense for Ronda Rousey to go after Charlotte Flair first. If I'm Ronda, the first thing I'm doing is going right to Becky. Monday Night Raw in Cincinnati, baby.
She's going to be there.
Let's not believe Uncle Dave, though. Let's not believe Uncle Dave for now.
He's wrong a lot.
I want to be more inclined. I want to be more inclined that she will challenge Becky more because of the storyline standpoint. It makes more sense.
Yeah, I think Sasha's going to win the women's elimination chamber and take on Charlotte. That's my gut feeling. And then Becky and
that makes
Ronda.
Sense too.
Yeah, I think
there's a lot that excuse me. There's a lot that makes sense. Now you
guys gotta apologize. I apologize if you guys hear like a lot of cheering. There's a birthday party happening right over here. I'm in Jacksonville today. It's like 20-something degrees up here. I can't believe it. It gets that over here. I know y'all are getting like in the negative, so I know. But
today was 58 here.
For real, it's colder down here right now. It's 36 right now, but anyways,
it's 31 right now.
There's a birthday party, so I apologize if you hear a lot of cheering in the background. They're just celebrating
There's a Royal Rumble going on where Jose is at right now. They're actually having a Royal Rumble in the living room.
Yeah, they just had an elimination, which is why you hear all the cheering.
Gotcha. Fair enough. Yeah, but man, now I mean, there is some kind of unfinished business between Ronda and Charlotte. And look, I would not put it past Vince McMahon to go, look, all right, this is too obvious. We can't do Becky and Ronda right out of the gate because it's too obvious. I think this is a very easily missed layup for them not to go ahead and do this match. And Vince will get the one-on-one match that he always wanted at WrestleMania, which was Charlotte versus Ronda Rousey. My only concern if they go that route is, are the fans going to continue to be happy that Ronda Rousey is back? Yes, she got a big pop tonight, but people were sick of her by the time of her last run, and we know how fickle fans are. So I'm fickle. I'm interested to see if the energy that she got tonight is sustainable all the way through WrestleMania.
We also got to remember one thing here real quick, though. Back in 2019, when Becky won Royal Rumble, she was the one that's supposed to get that one-on-one match with Ronda Rousey at WrestleMania later on, right? But guess what? Charlotte got inserted. So who's not to say that Becky Lynch will get inserted and we'll run it back again in a triple threat?
Another triple threat match?
God, here's what Vince, maybe this is what Vince is thinking. He thinks that Ronda will not get booed against Charlotte, but she could get booed against Becky. So maybe that's why they're thinking that way.
And that's the other thing is they're going full bore with this heel turn for Becky Lynch. So maybe they know the fact that a babyface Ronda versus a heel Becky just won't work.
And then you probably have a Bianca Belair win the Elimination Chamber and run that back and have her take on Becky.
And there were a lot of people who were pissed off on social media tonight that Bianca Belair did not win, and they think that they're not getting this big payoff. So I would not be surprised if Bianca Belair is the one that wins Elimination Chamber and ends up challenging Becky Lynch at WrestleMania, in which case Bianca Belair can finally get her win over Becky Lynch. But I don't know. I'm spouting off stuff that makes sense, and we know WWE does things that don't make.
Yeah. Hey, Kev, if you can hear us, unmute yourself. You're muted.
Yeah, your mic's muted again.
Yeah, make sure you unmute yourself there, guys, Kevin. But guys, we got Kevin Kellam right now live from St. Louis at the Royal Rumble. I'm not sure if he's getting very good signal. Kevin, can you hear us all right?
Yeah, I can hear you all right. Kind of wild around me right now.
Everybody's at a party tonight, but me and Rick.
Kevin, how is the atmosphere tonight in St. Louis? Can you tell some of the viewers, some of the biggest moments that you got in person and what reactions were big from your standpoint?
Look at there. Sorry, guys. It's loud. It's loud where I am. I can say 44,000 people is louder than you think it is. This is a dome place, so the sound goes straight up. I know from talking to people online, it felt louder on television than it did in person, and that was something like people had to get used to. And that's part of the live experience. I know people heard about the WrestleMania song, and there was issues with the WrestleMania song. Are you guys aware of that?
Yeah, it caught fire.
Yeah.
Yes, yeah.
So I think that was a bigger issue for the live audience than maybe people watching on television could have seen, because you had that obstructed the view of about 15,000 people. And that happened during the Becky Lynch Dewdrop match, and I think it really hurt them. Mind you, they had to go on after the Women's Rumble, which was eventful and had a lot going on in it, and Ronda came back at it. And I think that hurt them. But overall, I thought the crowd left us. No one was walking out of the show like being like, "Oh, this sucked." I was disappointed. The people that paid for a show got a show and felt very, very happy about it, or felt like they got something eventful. Randy Orton is a god in St. Louis. I can tell you that. Like, there are people in this crowd that just wanted to see Randy Orton come out there and give people RKOs and win this thing, to the point where Randy Orton's so over that when the show was done and went off the air, they kept playing his music while people left. I don't know if that's clear. He is way, way over. I thought this was a strong show. I don't know if it's the best Rumble I've ever seen, but if you want to say the show is bad, I think that's a reach. That's my
the show wasn't bad. The show wasn't bad at all. I had 2 thumbs up for the show right up until the Men's Royal Rumble match, which I thought was a major, major, major letdown in pretty much every way imaginable tonight for me.
Bobby Lashley just got tweeting, Brock who?
Reach. You're trying to get out there. You got to reach.
Well,
it's a reach.
No, I think I agree with Rick. I think the Men's Royal Rumble was poorly booked compared to the women's. I thought every match leading up to the Men's Royal Rumble was very good or solid. It was a good Rumble, a good pay-per-view. But then I just thought the Men's Rumble match was poorly booked. And John Alba had a good tweet. John Alba had a good tweet. He goes, "This is what happens when you don't really have a clear push for someone to ascend to the top, you're going to see a Rumble like this happen. And I think he was spot on with that tweet.
Right. And I think that makes that makes perfect sense. Let's talk about the mixed tag match here. Edge and Beth Phoenix going up against The Miz and Maryse. This was a fun and entertaining match. Some double glamazons to end it, and with Edge and Beth Phoenix getting a win. Rick, what did you think of this matchup, this mixed tag match?
I had very, very low expectations for this match. And that's not a slight on anybody who was in this match. This was just one that I personally didn't have a big vested interest in. If I was going to see Edge and Beth Phoenix in a mixed tag match, I wanted it to be against Becky and Seth. That's just what seemed to make more sense to me. But they brought Maryse back in, and look, Maryse tonight, showed that, for one night, she's as good as she ever was. She used to be one of the best in-ring performers for the company in the women's division, and I thought she had a very, very good showing tonight. Yeah, it was a fun match. I set the bar low, and it far exceeded my expectations. And the right team did go over. Thankfully, they didn't have Edge and Beth Phoenix lose their first ever mixed tag team match together. But when they hit the skull crushing finale, they had me. I'm like, oh my god, they really had to lose. And then Edge pulled her up at the
had you for just a moment.
Yeah.
How was the reaction in St. Louis, Kevin?
The time goes down. Do you want to get this super chat up here before the time goes down? We appreciate it, Raul and Mickey James did enter late at number 20. Was hoping for number 25. There was anticipation the Mickey James chance. Her involvement was more sizzle than substance. I'll tell you what, Mickey James got a much better showing than I had been anticipated. She came out the hardcore country. That was huge. She had the Impact Knockouts championship around her waist. That was huge. She had an elimination. I was hoping she'd make it to the final four, but given the fact that she is the flag carrier for an entire other company than WWE, I think that's about as best booking that we could have anticipated for Mickey James tonight.
Yeah, it was. I think it was really well done. She was in the match probably a good 10-15 minutes, so it wasn't like they unceremoniously tossed her out like some people that were in the men's rumble, like Damian Priest or Big E.
She didn't get no Melina treatment tonight.
That too.
No.
I love that Sasha split though. Though I think everything.
Let's talk about that Sailor Moon outfit though.
Everything they did with Mickey, I thought was well done and above my expectations.
Yeah, I think this Women's Royal Rumble was actually one of the best ones since its inception in 2018, and this, I think it was just hella entertaining. But let's talk about that same outfit by Sasha Banks.
Ooh, yeah.
I was just her doing her poses and I'm just waiting for Sailor Venus and Sailor Mercury to come on out and join her.
Yeah, it would have been nice, though, if she was in it longer than, 6-7 minutes? Yeah. That was the most confused, outside of most of the men's eliminations tonight, that was the most confusing elimination. And it felt, and Kevin, maybe you can speak to this a little bit more. It felt like Sasha's elimination really kind of took the crowd out of that Women's Royal Rumble for at least a few minutes anyway.
To a degree, yeah, because she definitely had the crowd going coming out at the beginning. The Melina entrance is fun, but I think the audience kind of understood, like, oh, here's a nostalgia appearance, and here is a legitimate person. The same way they wanted something with Sarah Logan and Liv Morgan to be together. There was definitely a difference of like, oh, we understand that this is a person who used to wrestle here and isn't. And anyone says that the WWE fans aren't tuned in or don't care about these modern characters. Liv Morgan, people cared about her. There was a big pop for Rhea Ripley. There was a big pop for Sasha Banks. There was a big pop for Bianca Belair. I could say that to be true, but then also I think people understood, like, oh, this person's going to be here and it's just for fun. And mind you, it was for fun. I agree with you. The women's Rumble was way better than the men's in terms of like live reactions. But it's also the thing to understand. It's 90% of it is pageantry. Is who do you have to come out and make me go, oh, wow, I didn't know I was going to get that. And where is the swerve with just someone coming out? Yeah. And that gets harder and harder to do. I think we got more of that with the women's because there were so many nostalgia ones. And with the men's, it was a swerve at the end with Brock. You know, like there was an angle you did on one night with him losing the title. So I didn't mind it because, you know, the storyline's going somewhere. So I'm like, I get it. You know
what Rick was saying.
I'm just saying, like, I don't love it, but I don't think the crowd left disappointed. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah.
You know
what Rick was saying though was as soon as Sasha got unceremoniously eliminated, it was much like Daniel Bryan years ago. The crowd felt dead on TV to us, and Daniel Bryan was even was trending on Twitter because everybody was comparing Sasha's unceremoniously being eliminated to that Daniel Bryan situation. Did it feel like the crowd kind of died when Sasha got eliminated?
Yeah. No, I don't. Because we knew there were other big things coming, and then when Ronda came out, they were wow, you know, like, and when other people came out, they were like wow. And when Charlotte got in there, they were into Charlotte not eliminating people. When she eliminated people, they cared. So it was a short-term thing. That was 5 minutes. It's a 60-minute match. People are going to come down and then come back up. That's okay.
Yeah, I think what helped it was Bianca Belair coming out right after that happened. So Bianca, so they lose a fan favorite in Sasha Banks, and I think more people. I'm not saying like her elimination was unceremonious or anything. It was a big nod for Queen Zelina to get that elimination for sure. But I think people were just shocked that it happened so quickly.
Yeah, she was the third. She was the third woman eliminated.
I think people thought when they brought Sasha Banks back last night on SmackDown that, oh, she's about to have a big night. She's back. She's healthy. She's face to face with Charlotte Flair. She says, I'm ready to rumble. And then she's gone in 8 minutes or whatever it was. So I think people were just a little bit surprised by that. But I think there were a lot of really, really fun spots in this match. It would have been nice if they would have let Liv Morgan and Sarah Logan actually like hug each other and get that Christian moment before they were tossed out by the Bella twins. I hope Sarah Logan is brought back to the company. I really, really do. She was one of those people who were let go that I'm just, it didn't make any sense to me. She's one of these people that I think is incredibly talented and never really got a chance to shine in the company. And you know what? With Ronda Rousey back, with Bayley maybe coming back soon, and you got all these other Liv Morgan needs something to do, and this women's division needs tag teams. And I think Liv Morgan is a single star, but if you can bring back Sarah Logan into the mix and have them be a tag team again, you effing do it, man. Yeah. And hopefully they can win something, because that had Riot Squad booking all over it tonight, how they were tossed out of this. They don't let the Riot Squad win shit.
No.
It was whatever. I liked it. It was great.
Unfortunately, they don't. So we talked about how great the Women's Royal Rumble was and how terrible or not greatly booked the Men's Royal Rumble was. Let's talk about how geniusly booked the WWE title match was, because I thought that was great with Roman Reigns coming down, costing Brock Lesnar the championship, Paul Heyman turning on Brock for the third time in his career, reuniting with our tribal chief. And it looks like we're going to get this showdown, obviously, now because Brock has won the Royal Rumble. We're going to get this showdown at WrestleMania. But we kind of got this weeks ago that Paul Heyman was going to do this to Brock Lesnar. Now, to fruition, it came across, in my opinion, it came across on TV. It came across really good. What was the reaction, and from your point of view, Kevin? Was the air sucked out of the building? Did that happen when that title?
Yeah. Immediately when people saw Roman turn to Paul, it was like, there was and I was up in the 400s. I moved from the 100 section to the 400s, so I was way up there, and you could hear that delay in time and with the crowd, and that's a special sound to hear with 44,000 people, where they go oh no. And it worked. It really, really worked. I wish there wasn't a major monster versus monster match sacrifice for an angle, but the angle was done very, very well. So I don't think anyone was I didn't get the thing I wanted, because you got this really cool surprise that worked. And there was some big things set up on the show, and that's what the Royal Rumble is supposed to be, right?
Yeah, I think this was the finish we were going to get at day one. I think this is what they had planned for day one. Roman would have retained with the help of Paul Heyman, and instead of that tonight, what we ended up getting was Bobby Lashley getting a big win over Brock Lesnar, which is not something that I saw coming. And the only thing I can say about this is this definitely seems like, with the WWE title picture right now, they are flying by the seat of their pants. they don't know what they want to do with this WWE Championship heading into WrestleMania.
Yeah.
And Brock Lesnar winning the title at day one just threw any and all plans that they had into absolute utter chaos. It's like Biff stealing the time machine and going back and giving himself the almanac. It has just completely changed everything.
I love the reference, Rick.
Yeah.
Love that reference.
And now it's like, okay, how do we fix this? How do we get back to the actual 1985? So I don't know what the WWE title match is going to be, but I would bet a important amount of money to me right now that we're heading towards a triple threat. I think inserting Seth Rollins in with Roman Reigns and Brock Lesnar now with especially everything that was left unfinished from the Universal Championship matchup tonight. I think it just makes so much sense to do a triple threat match and run back the heist of the century just with all three guys in the match at the same time. WWE title match. Hell if I know.
That's gonna.
No they're going.
A WWE title match is probably going to be settled. That matchup's going to be probably settled in the Elimination Chamber next month. You know, and I've been saying on this channel for months, just look at the way Paul Heyman reacts when he's with Roman Reigns and the way he reacts when he's with Brock Lesnar. I thought this would not. I didn't think this.
My Triple Chief.
I thought the turn would happen at WrestleMania, though. I didn't think it would happen tonight, so I was kind of surprised. I loved when they took their time. Roman looks at Paul. Roman sticks out his hand. Paul stands there for a minute, then hands him the title. They took like they took their time doing that moment, and I thought it was very well done.
Completely agree, man. I completely agree. The way that they finished it was great, and even with Brock coming out at number 30 was cool.
Crowd loved it.
The crowd loved it. I think that was a smart thing to do, especially with the way that how you ended that matchup. But let's talk about some of the a little bit of surprises that we got. We didn't get that many. We got Bad Bunny.
Let me tell you something else, though. If they would have done it the other way around, and Roman got beat, and Brock retained, the crowd would have absolutely hated Roman at 30, but they loved Brock at 30. So there's a huge difference if they would have changed it around to have Roman in that spot.
People love Brock now because people love Brock because Brock loves people now.
Yeah, he's personable now. He finally gets to show off his personality now.
Looks like we lost Kevin. Looks like he has a poor signal where he's at in St. Louis. But yeah, so I want to go around the table here, guys. I want to get your score 1 through 10. How did you, Rick? I'm going to shoot it over to you. How do you score this pay-per-view, bro? 1 through 10, 2022 Royal Rumble.
6. 6 out of 10. That men's Royal Rumble, man, it killed it for me. I was not happy to see Brock out there. And look, I'm not. It was just so predictable. WWE cannot help but give Brock Lesnar things that he does not need. He did not need to win another Royal Rumble. And again, it's all part of, as John Alba said in his tweet, it's all part of the bigger problem with WWE right now is they don't know who their future is right now. And even if you look at a guy like Damian Priest, who has been undefeated in singles competition for a year until quite recently.
His booking's been shit lately.
They changed his character to make him like this,
Jekyll and Hyde.
Jekyll and Hyde, yeah.
Jekyll, Mr. Hyde character. He was one of the most cool, likable, just total badasses. And then they started,
multiple women in the hot tub, partying, rock star life, And
then they start tweaking for no reason. And I'm just sitting here and I'm like, guys, what are we doing? And
he's about to lose that title to KO.
And that might be the WrestleMania match, and that's fine. But it's like, that's a guy that should have had a fantastic showing in the Royal Rumble tonight to show, hey, this guy could be your future. A guy like Montez Ford, who many people believe is a future world champion and main event star, a guy who has everything, should have had a much better showing. That's what you look for. That's what I look for out of these Royal Rumbles is storyline progression for the other people who were involved, not necessarily just the winners and the finish and everything. And who do I think the guys are that have a very bright future coming up? And I didn't see a whole lot of that tonight. And that men's Royal Rumble just absolutely killed it for me for what was a really, really good show up until that point.
And then they've been teasing, the playful stuff between the Prophets and the Mysterios, and they didn't even have Dominic and Rey in the ring at the same time.
Dominic should have eliminated Rey from the match. That should have been the easiest layup, slam dunk booking of any none of it made sense.
They weren't, and Dominic didn't have a good showing either. He was pretty much an unceremonious entrant into the Royal Rumble.
The Royal Rumble is a puzzle, all right? And it felt like tonight that they were doing two separate puzzles at the same time and trying to cram things together. Nothing worked tonight. And I will say this, one thing I got to bring up real quick is poor Kofi Kingston, man. It is miraculous.
That spot didn't go right, though, because that spot wasn't supposed to go like that.
No. It's amazing how that's the first time that's happened, that he's bought.
Yeah.
No. I can tell you from being there live, it was clear that something happened that wasn't supposed to happen.
He just undershot it.
That's spot right there.
And the camera
like that.
And the camera caught his feet. Like there was no.
Yeah, TV had it.
Feet were flat on the ground for a full second. There was no.
And you can see the ref like trying to hesitate, like he was almost about to say no, but like they're like, no, we got it on camera.
Because if the camera was not on him, they could have just kayfabed it and said, "Hey, he survived." Oh my God, look what he did, But the camera, for one of the times that Kevin Dunn doesn't switch 85 camera cuts, he actually had the camera on Kofi for that. And here's a fun trivia question. You're talking about lackluster Royal Rumbles appearances tonight. Who had the third most eliminations tonight? Happy Corbin.
Oh.
Happy Corbin tied with Omos at 3. Brock Lesnar had 5. AJ Styles had 6.
Because he's a fucking heel, Jeremy. Heels need heat, Jeremy.
Language, Kevin.
Madcap Moss tossing AJ Styles is the most egregious thing I've seen on this.
Oh my!
You gotta keep it peachy, Kevin. Jeremy, how do you score tonight's Royal Rumble, bro?
It was trending towards. It was trending towards a 7.5 until the men's Royal Rumble. So yeah, I'm dropping it. I agree with Rick. Rick, I think, had the right number there. I'm giving it a 6 as well. It was a solid 7.5 until the men's Rumble.
I was gonna give it an 8, but I'm actually gonna drop it to a 7. And the reason I'm dropping it to the 7 is because of Bad Bunny, baby. Bad Bunny, my guy, Bad Bunny. He showed up, bro. He had plenty of eliminations.
He was good.
He looked good. He hit that Bunny Destroyer in the middle of the ring. He eliminated a lot of people. How many people did he eliminate, Jeremy?
2. He got 2.
2. Was it 2? Still, he looked good. He looked good tonight, and he got a net 5 from Brock Lesnar. So I'm sure he was happy with that.
We could get Bad Bunny and Damian Priest against Sheamus and Ridge Holland, maybe.
Yeah, how the hell did you not even have Damian Priest and Bad Bunny in the same match at the same time? That could have been a little story that they could have played there. You could have had Damian go off on Bad Bunny. If you're trying to slowly turn Damian Priest heel, which seems what they're trying to do here, that would have been the way to go.
Just beat the absolute shit out of Bad Bunny.
Yeah.
Damian wakes up.
Rick, the way you're yelling about Bad Bunny, you sound like Jerry Seinfeld. What's the deal with Bad Bunny? You got him in the ring. He's not in there with Damian Priest.
Is he bad or is he funny? I don't get it.
Newman.
Kevin, what's your score, bro? You were there live.
I'm swayed because I was here live. I'm giving it like a 7.5 or an 8. This was the first Rumble with live fans in 2.5 years. Those fans who paid for tickets left and were happy. And that is my perspective because I was at the show. And they got some cool angles and you got some big surprises. Ronda Rousey is a big surprise. Ronda Rousey is a big surprise, right, buddy? We're on a live stream. What do you think, Ronda Rousey? How do you feel? Best surprise. Best everything. Best. Yeah. There we go. Sorry. Hey. How are you doing?
Hey, good.
Yeah. So they agree. These people at the hotel agree. Yeah.
We're getting kicked out.
We're getting kicked out. So I'm gonna go. Okay.
All right. Well, I guess that's our cue as well, man. So Kevin, get home safe. Thanks for covering all the stuff over there in St. Louis, bro. Take care.
I tell you what, though,
all right, guys. Well,
the use of the celebrities that was about the only bright spot in the men's Royal Rumble was the use of Johnny Knoxville and Bad Bunny. They both looked good, and it was entertaining. And it was a fun moment.
Yeah, I completely agree. I think Johnny Knoxville, that whole part was hilarious. He was there to be the designated finisher guy, right? Like every guy was hitting their finisher on him. And I think that was hilarious. And he got eliminated ceremonially by Sami Zayn and then Sami Zayn afterward. But yeah, man, I understand where you guys are coming from. there was some parts of the Rumble that was like, oh my God. Like when it was like getting to 27, I'm like, this is a terrible Rumble. And then Bunny came out, it got a little bit better. Then Brock came out, and then that's it. The show was over.
No surprises, no NXT, no Forbidden Door, none of that.
No.
None of that.
It was an average Rumble. It wasn't like it wasn't like last year. And last year was in the Thunderdome with no fans. And we got Edge coming in, and winning the whole thing. And then 2 years ago, he big surprise from him as well. So I don't know, man. I think we lacked some surprises this year. And I think also the fact that they announced Mickie James 3 weeks ahead of time, I think that didn't either, right? I think that made up a lot of buildup for the show. But as far as from a surprise standpoint, we didn't get that many surprises in the show.
No, none at all.
Another super chat here, Roland Curtis. The camera caught Roman's look of disgust when he was at the WWE title belt. He even threw it down like it was trash. I'm sure that the WWE title will not get either Mania main event nights again.
Not this year, at least. It's going to be women. It's going to be Ronda Rousey, whoever she's facing, night 1, and then Lesnar and Reigns, maybe Rollins in night 2. That's going to be how it goes down.
Yeah, look, we don't know. Look, I would not be surprised if Bobby Lashley is not the WWE champion at WrestleMania. Like, to be completely honest with you, we could have a completely different champion and a completely different challenger by the time that we get there.
Do you think they make him defend it in the chamber, or they do a number 1 contender?
I think he's going to defend it in the chamber for sure.
I hate that. That's why I hate the chamber before Mania. Is I hate the champion in the chamber when it's right before Mania.
I think if I had to guess, because I don't even know if SmackDown will have an Elimination Chamber matchup, to be completely honest with you, because we already know that Brock and Roman is there. We know if
Ronda's probably going
Ronda's
to have three competitors from each one. What is it, 6 spots, right?
yeah.
They might have all Raw guys in the chamber though for the men. If Brock calls his shot on Friday, they may just have 6 Raw men in the chamber in Saudi.
I think you're going to have Lashley defend the title in the Elimination Chamber, and I think you are going to have the Women's Chamber match be for the number 1 contender for whichever champion that Ronda does not choose.
Yeah, because Ronda's going to be on Raw Monday, but that doesn't mean she won't be on SmackDown Friday either. So
look, if Dave Meltzer is right and Ronda Rousey is going to choose Charlotte Flair, just give me a reason. Just give me a reason. Give me an interaction between Ronda and Becky that explains it, because nothing that happened tonight set up Charlotte and Ronda. You can sit there and say that, she has unfinished business with her, and she did until tonight. Ronda has no more unfinished business with Charlotte. She got over on Charlotte. She eliminated her from the Royal Rumble.
Yep.
That's it. There's no more unfinished business between Ronda Rousey and Charlotte Flair as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah.
That kendo stick attack that happened over 3 years ago at this point, Ronda Rousey made up for that tonight by eliminating Charlotte from the Royal Rumble. So it makes no storyline sense standpoint for her to go after Charlotte as opposed to Becky Lynch. So give me a damn reason if that is going to be the case, and hopefully we get that.
Have to wait and find out. We're all going to have to wait until Monday or Friday.
Hopefully,
to find out
I'll be there in person.
What the hell she's going to do?
There's a reason why Sasha came back from injury early, and I think it's going to start a feud with Charlotte. To be honest,
here's an interesting question: who are your? And I hate this term as far as like biggest losers, because I'm not saying they're losers, but who do you think lost the most this weekend?
AJ Styles getting eliminated by Madcap Moss.
I think it's hands down. It's Big E. I think Big E being moved.
Big E was on ceremony. Yeah.
Being moved to SmackDown for nothing in return. The guy who was WWE champion, 30 days ago?
Yeah.
Just got handed over to SmackDown for no reason, be reunited with a New Day, unceremoniously tossed from the Royal Rumble tonight. I think any prayers of Big E getting back in the WWE or Universal title picture anytime soon just went out the window. I think Xavier Woods' injury crushed that. I think they decided to go, okay, well, Xavier's out. We need to continue whatever we're doing with the New Day. Let's put Big E there, and we'll figure something out with the WWE title picture. I had Big E marked as a favorite to win the Royal Rumble.
A lot of people did.
And it doesn't even look like he was a thought tonight, which is a damn shame, because that man was a great WWE champion and a great ambassador for the company, and he deserves to be in the main event spot. But for me, it looks like he lost a lot this week.
Yeah, because if you the times are still not up yet, but he was not in it long. He was not in it long. And the crowd did not like it when RK Bro eliminated him either.
They didn't like it when KO got lost either.
I think the New Day as a collective didn't have a good night, because especially with Kofi Kingston, having that botched spot there at the barricade, and Big E getting unceremoniously eliminated so quickly from the match. I think just the New Day as a collective just didn't have a good
night. I figured it out. I know what the WWE Championship match needs to be at WrestleMania. There is one member of the New Day who is yet to win a world championship, who owns a victory over Bobby Lashley and never got a title match out of it. Give me King Woods versus Bobby Lashley for the WWE Championship at WrestleMania.
They trade Big E for King Woods, and we still don't get the New Day together again. It was already idiotic enough. It was already idiotic enough when Big E cashed in Money in the Bank, and we got New Day reunited.
Next time around in the next draft, it's going to be Kofi and Big E on SmackDown, and Xavier stays on Raw.
Yeah. We got them reunited, and then a month later, you split them back up in the draft last year, and it's like, Jesus.
Look, I do think one thing should be celebrated is the fact that Bobby Lashley is a 2-time WWE champion. I was kind of worried that he might be a one-and-done kind of guy. So I'm glad to see that he's going to get another reign. If it's going to be longer than 3 weeks, I don't have a whole lot of faith in that. But the fact that they put the title back on him, that's great. He can say he's a multi-time champion. I hope Big E gets to say the same again, but I don't think it's going to happen at least before WrestleMania season. It may not happen until SummerSlam at the earliest.
If you talk to any former wrestler, anybody that's in the business, you're solidified when you become a multi-time world champion. So it was good to see Bobby. Absolutely. Bobby Lashley, much like Drew McIntyre, reinvented himself after being in WWE initially, and both guys are enjoying just the hard work that they've put in, and they're enjoying the success on the biggest stage.
Good to see Drew back tonight, too. Good to see Drew back tonight. I had no idea how long he was going to be out with a legitimate neck problem, and he was back in time to be in the Royal Rumble and unfortunately be the runner-up. I would have much rather he won tonight than Brock Lesnar. That's for damn sure. But maybe they'll run it back again. Maybe
the Royal Rumble.
Maybe they'll run it back again.
We know that the Rumble had ups and downs tonight. It had ups and downs tonight. Some people liked it. Kevin said that it got a good reaction, but some people didn't like it, just like Rick and Jeremy. And so guys, sound off in the comments and let us know what your thoughts were on all the matches. Let us know exactly what you thought and score on tonight's Royal Rumble. But that's it for tonight's post show, guys. Appreciate you hanging out with us tonight. And I know it's late for a lot of you that are hanging out with us, but really appreciate hanging out.
I'm going to the bar right now.
You're hanging out to go to the bar right now. I got to continue this birthday party that I got over here. But guys, thank you so much for hanging out. Remember, we got a lot of stuff dropping this weekend since we were at St. Louis. So be on the lookout on the Sportskeeda Wrestling YouTube channel. Make sure you're liking, sharing, and subscribing, and smash that notification bell so you never miss whenever we go live and we drop brand new content. All right, guys?
By the way, when you're over on YouTube, by the way, when you're over on YouTube, make sure to also subscribe to the Believe in Pro Wrestling podcast channel. I would really, really appreciate that.
Had to get that in, didn't you, Rick?
That is spelled BLEAV, by the way. Believe in Pro Wrestling. Subscribe. Giving away $50 to WWE Shop on Monday. All you have to do is subscribe and follow me. And
that means I could win. I might win. Woohoo!
You could win. You subscribed. You're a good boy. Thank you, Jeremy. I appreciate the support.
I'm already subscribed, so why am I not getting my $50?
But it's not everybody gets 50.
It's not everybody. I'm not. What do you think I am, Matt? What do you think I am, Baron Corbin?
Because I thought
I'm not. I ain't loaded up with this.
Oh man.
I mean, you got that Believe money, so I'm just saying.
Oh yeah.
Or is it that Make Believe money?
Yeah.
They're paying them in Monopoly.
Until I can monetize on YouTube, it's make believe. So subscribe, damn it.
Guys, go ahead and give Rick a subscribe on the Believe Pro Wrestling Podcast. Really appreciate you guys. Thank you so much for joining. Give us a follow on all of our socials. As always, when watching wrestling, you have to do the most important thing, which is what, gentlemen?
Stop watching the Royal Rumble before the men's match showed up.
And enjoy wrestling and where was LA Knight? Yeah.
Yeah. Where was he? Good night.
Watch out, watch out, watch out.